What's up, boys? It's Dual Factory once again, another video. This time I'm going to be showing you what I took to YCS Atlanta this weekend. I played pure Invoked. It's still one of my favorite decks to play this format. I thought this got really good matchups, and I like the fact that you can play a one-card engine, and at any time in the game you only need one card to be able to play the game. So that's why I chose to go ahead and play this. I played in the main event. I didn't do too hot in the main event, and I played a couple side events. And I did a lot better in the side events, but I came short a couple times of actually winning my regional flight or the attack a giant card or whatever. A lot of it had me do with me like spacing out on certain plays where it would have won me the game, but I just didn't. Like, for example, I should have negated an opponent's board load and I just didn't do it. Otherwise, I win the game. But enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I played for the weekend. I'm also going to tell you what I would change because I'm going to go to a regional in St. Louis and I'm probably going to play this deck again. But I'm going to test a little bit more for the event because I'm either going to play pure or I'm going to play the Mech Knight build. I don't know what build I'm going to play, but enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into it. So for the main deck, we played 3 copies of Alistair. This is your one-card engine. You want to be able to see it. That's why you max out on it. I mean, sure, it kind of sucks when you open like a bunch of copies of it, but it's necessary. So we play that. And then we play the one blue boy because we are playing the spellbook engine. Just adds consistency to your deck. And that's actually it for the normal summonable monsters. And then I played 9 hand traps. I played Ogre. I decided on main deck in the Ogre because it was the best thing versus Pendulum. And that matchup, believe it or not, it's actually a really easy matchup because you play so many hand traps. But during the actual event, between the side events, the main events, and everything like that, I only played against one Pendulum deck, which is really unfortunate because my deck was kind of geared to beat Pendulum because I did so much testing against it with my buddy Aldo and Jordan and all of them. But this card's really good against them. So we went ahead and main deck 3, plus it's light. That's one of the things I like about all the hand traps in the deck. They were all light, so they could all be used to make Mechaba. I also played 3 copies of Ailer. This is also really strong against Pendulum because it stops the Electromite. It doesn't take it off the field, but it keeps them from activating all of Electromite's effects. So they can't gain any advantage. So we went ahead and main deck 3 copies of that. Plus it's surprisingly good across the board against almost all the decks this format. So I'm definitely going to keep this hand trap in. And then this was probably the most underwhelming hand trap, but it was really good against Pendulum, especially like when they're stuck in bad positions where they can't open Electromite and they have to play like Wavering Eyes early if they play Wavering Eyes in the main. This card was really good. Plus, it was really good against Droll and Lockbird because some people were still maining Droll, and then when they Drolled me on an open field like with Terraforming and whatnot, this card's really good against them. And then along with it, you played the one driver so you can actually play the card. And that was it for the monsters. On to the spell cards. We're playing 3 Magical Meltdown. I want to be able to see Alistair as soon as possible, so that's why we're playing 3. We're also playing 3 copies of Terraforming. Now, this is actually one of the cool pickups I had this week, and these are Portuguese. I really like them. But, like I said, you're essentially playing 9 copies of Alistair of your one-card engine, and that's why I max out on it. I'm also playing 2 copies of Invocation. Some people are bumping it up to 3. I'm still sticking it out at 2. I hate opening this card. I only want to search it. I don't want to open it. But there are some times that you want to hard draw it, and so that's why you play 2. I'm also playing Pot of Desires in the deck, so as an engine requirement, I'm playing 2. And then for the spellbooks, I played 2 Secrets and 2 Knowledge. This was the best ratio of them, but a lot of the times you'll open up cluttered hands where you have multiple copies of each of these, and you also want to be able to search something without having to search a duplicate copy of it. And since I'm also playing 3 copies of Terraform to alleviate the problem, I'm also playing 1 copy of the Grand Spellbook Tower. And this actually caught a lot of people off by surprise because it actually generates a lot of advantage for you. So any game that I opened, like, say, Secrets and Blue Boy and I had 2 searches, or say I opened Secrets plus Terraforming and I already had Knowledge, I would go search this card out and put it on the field, and your opponent's never going to touch it because they don't think it's going to do anything. But they're absolutely wrong because you're going to generate an extra draw every turn. Every turn this card stays on the field, you're going to generate a +1. It invokes a slower pace kind of, especially the pure. They're not going to kill you in 1 turn, so every turn I'm just continually generating advantage. Shoutouts to Robert for suggesting this card to me. It was solid all weekend. I would definitely continue to play 1 in the future in any build that I would play. Especially if it plays the spellbook engine, it's just perfect. Plus, you can put your spellbooks. Another cool interaction this card has is if you have another Secrets in hand, you can take the Knowledge you had the previous turn, put it on the bottom of the deck, draw an extra card, then activate the Secrets to get to that Knowledge. It's a really good card. I definitely suggest playing it in the future. I also play 3 copies of Desires. You just want your +1s in this deck, so you're gonna play 3. And I'm a huge believer of 3 or none, so there's that. I also play 3 copies of Scapegoat. anytime you open this card and you resolve it in the end phase, you should almost undoubtedly win the game unless your opponent has like warning or something like that, or like a torrential. But anytime you open it, you should win this. You should definitely win, especially if you're going first. And then I played 7 trap cards. I played 3 copies of Strike, 1 warning, and 1 judgment. These cards were actually really good all weekend. They like judgment being back really cool because it stops your evenly match and stuff like that. But at the same time, evenly match doesn't really do a lot against you because you're only committing 1 or 2 cards to the board. So there's that. Also, Solemn Judgment's not that good against Trickstar. They're all monster effects, so it's like it's really hard to actually do this. The only thing you really want to stop is Reincarnation. But if you do that, they can usually kill you with their monster effects. So that's the only matchup it's really bad against. Everything else is actually pretty solid, so I definitely like it in the main. And then I also main deck 2 copies of Anti-Spell. This card was good and bad. In theory, it's an auto-win against Pendulum. And that theory held true in testing, because like if you go in first and you open it, it was almost an auto-win. And then if you draw it going second, if you could break their board, which Alistair is very good at breaking boards on its own, then you can literally set it after you break the board and flip it, and then they're stunned in a position where they can't really win. Other than that, when you play against like other decks going second, this card is terrible, but it's amazing against them going first. But after playing in the events and stuff like that, I'm probably going to move this to the sideboard, and I'm probably going to change 4 or 5 cards in my main decks for other events, so we'll see how that goes. But that was the main. It's 40 as always. And then get that out of the way. We'll go ahead and I'll show you the extra deck. My sweet goat tokens in my field center. And then for the extra deck, I played 3 copies of Mechaba. You 100%, if you're going to play Pure Invoked or you're going to play Mech Invoked or anything like that, you 100% have to play 3. There were multiple games that I played. I went through all 3 of them. And it's, I'm not going to say it's like Shaddoll, but it's the same theory of once you run out of Mechabas, the game's over. So that's why I want to max out on this card. But like, it's just solid. Like, it banishes a card, doesn't destroy him, so it doesn't trigger those effects. It's 2,500. It's like, it's everything you want in a boss monster. And then I play 1 Purgatorio and 1 Raijin. The Purgatorio is actually really good. It lets you win games that you're not supposed to. And then Raijin, I only played Raijin because I was main decking. For the main event, I was main decking Draw and Lockbird. But for the side events, I took it out for the Veilers. In hindsight, I only made the Raijin once, and it was in the mirror match, believe it or not. But I'm probably going to cut it and play Elysium. And I'm also probably going to find a way to incorporate Mind Control into the main deck, because that card's like really solid. It's really sacky, it's really solid. So, there's that. And then, I only played 1 Synchro and Cyframe Lord Omega. This essentially, I played it because I was playing Cyframe Gear Gamma, but I never once was in a position where I could summon it. So, I'm also probably also going to cut the Gammas and play Ash in the main deck, so this is probably going to come out in the extra deck. But when you had it, it was cool. It was cool. And then on to the links. For the Link 2s, I play, not Link 2s, Link 1s, I play Link Spider, and I also play Link Karibo. I play one of each. There are situations come up that they're different, that you're going to want to summon Ib, but most of the time you're only going to summon Ib off the Scapegoat play anyway, but one of each was fine. For the Link 2s, I played Underclock, Ib, and Proxy. Underclock was really good. It was really cool to be able to link into this and have a downward pointing zone. Plus, there's a couple combos you can do with like Purgatorio and Mechaba that you can just steal games. Ib is for the draw 1 combo that you do with Ningirsu, and it's a really good link too that you can make. And then Proxy Dragon is cool because any monster plus Alistair gets you to Mechaba because you can just generate the light by making that. So keep that in mind. And then for the Link 3s, I play Decode and I play Ningirsu. I did the Ningirsu combo almost every time that I resolved the Scapegoat, so I definitely keep playing it. Plus, its non-targeting removal is really good. This weekend, I never once made Decode Talker. The only time I would have made it was against True Draco, and there was a lot of True Draco there. I never played against a single True Draco, and I never once was in a position where I wanted to make Decode Talker, but in theory, he's a pretty solid card, so I might continue to play him, I might not, I don't know. And then for the Link 4s, I played Saryuja Skuldread, and I played Borreload. I made Borreload multiple times. I never once made Skuldread, and I was never in a position I wanted to. Now, maybe in the Mech Knight decks, you definitely see this card more, but in the Pure, I hardly ever make it, so I might honestly just cut it. But like I said, we'll see for the next event. And that was the extra. And then I'll go ahead and show you the side. I didn't like my side that whole lot, but now that I know, there's a lot of things I can change. I'm going to. But to start off, I played 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. I cut this to the... I didn't cut this, but I moved to the side because it's terrible against Pendulum. But after playing in the actual main event, I'm probably going to cut the Gammas and move this over to the main deck. It's a good generic hand trap across the board. The only bad matchup it has is Pendulum. And then on top of that, it's a fire, so you can use it to make Purgatrio. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So 3 copies of that. I also played 3 copies of Chaos Hunter. This card's an auto win against Trickstar, and it's also really good in the mirror match. But there were a lot of times I opened multiple copies of it in my hand, and I just didn't think it was very good at that point. So I might cut it down to 2. But like I said, there's a lot of things about my extra deck that I would not my extra deck, but my side deck I would change. So there's that. And then the only spell I played was 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. I sided this in against decks when I was going second, or like decks like True Draco. Other than that, there wasn't a lot. I never really wanted to see it, but I never actually played a matchup to where like it was going to be broken. So there's that. I also played 3 copies of Evenly. I only play this against decks that were like Rogue or anything like that. Like it's really good against Trickstar, but other than that, across like multiple decks, they're just like not. The only deck that really commits anything is Pendulum, and they're going to put multiple negations up anyway. So I might get rid of this card also, but at the same time, like you kind of need it to beat the Rogue deck. So I don't know. And then 2 copies of Dimensional Barrier. This is another card to side going first against Pendulum Magician. That's an auto win almost. And then I also played 1 copy of Métis Spell Fragrance for when I was going first against Pendulum. But that was my Invoked deck profile for the YCS Atlanta event that I went to this weekend. Like I said, there's a lot of changes I would make to the deck, especially if I'm going to continue to play it competitively. It was a good learning experience. I haven't been to YCS in forever, so that was cool. This might be the deck that I play for the regional in St. Louis, or I might switch over to Pendulum or whatnot. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm going to go ahead and continue doing some testing, and then I'm going to figure some stuff out. Then I'm going to come at you guys with another profile. I also have more matches going up for you, so you look forward to that content. And I just always remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll keep bringing the content, boys. Thanks for watching.